Hello there, this is Cookies, and I've got turn 90 MA Naba, and as we can see, we've got another Armageddon, which isn't great, not what we want to see, but we're still thinking about attacking Pyrene. We've successfully empowered in blood on both of our golems. This potentially opens up the ability to do Send Horror, if we research that, but at least send lesser horror, so we can do some stuff in the raiding game. We do have some assassinations. So this poor guy has a hammer. He was trying to do some foraging, and he's screwed. Soul Thorns are pretty killy, and they have the ability to add additional marks. And they have a fear effect. They're one of the easier ones to kill with an army, but they're still pretty scary in assassinations. And then we have some belly maws rampaging through the local tavern. They kill the hen that was bodyguarding this mage. Again, this guy was also foraging, and luck is not going to save him. We then get hit with Armageddon again. We lose another 265 units, along with a lot of population and income. Additionally, we find a magic site, so we find a druid's grave for 1 nature. Find 2 in Velvet Ocean, so that's 2 more earth. But still kind of searching, not finding a whole lot. Our blood hunting is still trying to progress, but it's struggling. It's getting hit pretty hard by the Armageddon spam. And then we have even more assassinations. So we're about to lose the shake. Alright. And then this Mukareb. So you can see these tainted souls. They have a life-draining flare that's armor-piercing with life drain. They start out pretty low HP, though. They have a tremendous amount of attack and defense. So they just kill that guy. And we get a couple more. This crib has a lantern. He's killed by some mantises. Very killy. And high protection. And we've got another Mukareb here. Again, most of these things have fear effects. They're very scary. Get stunned right off the bat. Alright, they mind blast him away. Alright, and then we do get attacked in Gulf loss, so putting up that fort was indeed a good call. Allows us to retain ownership of that province. And for this attack, we see a number of trolls. We do have a fair amount of PD here. We're trying to fight this attack off. We've killed a lot of the trolls. Now we're down to the undead summoned by the shaman. Alright, we managed to survive that one. Alright, then we have some disease spreading. Our temple was destroyed, which is the last thing we needed as we're getting Dom pressured, especially under Armageddon, where it's going to be hard to rebuild that temple. And one of our mages is wounded in the lab. As we can see, Cataclysm is still going, still ramping. We breach Umfolia, so we're getting ready to storm that. And another one of our provinces has turned into a dense forest. Alright, and we have a couple more die from disease. Again, these are probably from Armageddon hits that left them low HP. Alright, so we've site searched this. We're continuing to site search in the caves. we're trying to put together a functional garrison for this throne, but unfortunately we also need to get stuff out of the cave so we can go fight wars. I don't view it as my primary responsibility to protect my one throne. I am in last place on the thrones list, so I need to be aggressive, and I'm going to view it as up to other people to protect their thrones. I'm still going to make a good faith effort. I want to lose this throne. So we've got anti-magic, we've got steel slice warriors, divine blessing, life for life spam for doom horrors, steel slice and petrify, marble army. So we have a fair amount of stuff. It's just not as much as I would like under normal circumstances. And we have lost over 500 troops and mages and commanders over the last 2 turns. So it's just harder to put together a really big garrison there. We've lost a lot of stuff. So we can see a large number of mages are getting disease from being repeatedly hit over the end turn. This army is looking very much thinned out. And I think now we're starting to get concerned about needing to fight Zan. So we're going to go ahead and storm this fort. This was our second Armageddon. I do talk with Pyrene. So instead of counting down the nap to 0, we're going to count down to a nap 1. And I'm thinking about swapping targets from Pyrene to Vanarus. But I do want that reduced nap so that I can respond to something that Pyrene does. Basically, I just have to give him a warning and then I could attack. But we're gonna go ahead and pivot, and that's because the second Armageddon is like, one Armageddon was bad enough, but this is a pretty big provocation. I'm having to I probably should be migrating this blood hunting province. It's already this province is ruined by Armageddon. We're thinking about hunting this one, but we're migrating to Blue Coast out of Mirror. And that's so we can position more troops up here. We're going to keep hunting here. And I think we're primarily... What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get more troops, or... Trying to figure out what I'm spending my blood economy on. Maybe it's just more troops, is what I'm thinking. You can see we're losing a tremendous number of mages. We are empowering again. So I think this time we've got glamour on the table. Let's see. Yeah, so this one's getting glamour. And this one is probably getting earth, so he can summon golems. Nope. I didn't even notice what it was. It might be air. Alright. And I'm trying to figure out... Oh, maybe I'm just not spending a lot of it. I think I'm saving it. Because I potentially might need to do more locusts and new forts. You can see our income is now getting dangerously close to our upkeep. We're not going to be able to hire anyone new now with this second Armageddon. And yeah, so I think we're trying to build up in Pannonia so we can make a move on Lish. And we're trying to build up in Blue Coast so we can potentially raid this area. And we're trying to get some forces into Umpholia so that we can make some efforts there. Okay, so we do have an Infernal Tempest going out because I wanted... She's horror marked, so she's on a timer, especially in Cataclysm. But otherwise, it looks like I'm saving a fair amount of Blitz lives. Alright. And you can see I pulled a fair amount of stuff off my mages, because I've already lost a fair amount of stuff to Armageddon. I don't want to lose more. It's going to be hard to forge replacement gear, so I want to be more careful with the gear I have. So we pulled a lot of gear off. And I think that's it for this turn. I'm also assuming we're going to get Armageddon again, so I'm not spending gold. So no new Jangar, no new Malika. And we can see upkeep here. So I think we're right around the same number of Malakat as last turn. We might have lost one and hired one, but they're reasonably resilient. But we've lost definitely a lot of other stuff. And we've definitely lost a lot of our garnets. I think a couple of turns we're up around 46 of them. Now we're down to 32. Alright, so yeah, we're starting to get ready to pivot towards Zan. A bunch of our thugs in Shaitan have arrived in Mountains of Mist. They're going to go ahead and move to either Bloodhunt here, or they're going to move to centrally locate to get ready for the raiding game. But, yeah, it's pretty spooky. I'm using this guy to go ahead and scry. So we have the Halls of the Oracles, so he should be able to safely scry using that. And we're using that scry on EL to see how this fort is doing. Mostly because I don't have a scout here yet. And I believe next turn is the first full turn for Kata. And these throne garrisons are still not looking sharp enough for Dominion 6. For how much harder the horrors hit in Dominion 6. You can see the further garrisons here. We do see a golem in this army, but not much here. Now, sometime during the mid-game, I forget exactly when, but False God and I both subbed in as into a Disciples game. We replaced a full team of 2. And that was a game that was just about to go into Cataclysm, and we did that to kind of get more experience with Cataclysm in a low-stress kind of situation. So we did pull some lessons away from that, which is the attacks on thrones are much more deadly than they were in Dominions 5. So you really do need a significant full army to protect your thrones, because you can get hit by a Doom Horror, which they're tougher in Dominion 6. They have a lot more resistances now. And I believe they can carry items. But right after the Doom Horror, you can also get hit by a full army of horrors, like, say, a few hundred Belly Maws. And so you can see this army here from Pyrene is coming a lot closer. He's got elite troops here, Demon Knights and Trolls. He does have stealthy mages, but he's probably going to move more stuff in to this throne. And he does have a lot more thrones to defend, so it's going to be harder for him to get effective garrisons on all of those. Additionally, this is starting to look like a better army. Knights of Avalon, probably not the same as Demon Knights under a full suite of buffs. The fear effect is pretty good. But they do have a magic attack, which I think is really good. So I think they would hold up pretty well. So this looks like a good garrison. And again, here's another thing. It's not quite as good. It's mostly based on unicorns rather than knights. But it still looks like a pretty hefty garrison. I do think this one could potentially lose based on just what I'm seeing in the scouting report. But I think this one could defend. And I think this one has the potential to defend. But I think something like this would lose. Although he does have a vampire here. Alright. So we're getting ready. We're going to be fighting someone, because this is not going to stand along with the Armageddon spam. And so, also, this Dominion pressure, pretty nuts. Still getting pushed really hard by Dominion. But it's workable at the moment. I'm controlling it a lot with Locust. Alright. So let's go ahead and jump to turn 91. Our first full turn of Kata, where I think the your base chance of getting attacked by a horror if you cast a ritual is doubled. I think 10 to 20. So let's go ahead and jump into turn 91 and see what happens. Have a good one.